DVD Era TV back at y'all with another one. Y'all know the slogan. Today we gonna talk about the time Rowdy Rebel was stabbed. Now let's get into it.
Mixtapes and DVDs is my era.
Facts.
We did it better.
Yep.
Pelly leathers,
Facts.
ACG boots. We 80s babies and early 90s when it got grimy. I was out of this world, you could not find me unless you check the lobby. Hustling was my hobby. We was lobby boys
Yep.
before Jim Jones. You could catch me in Harlem eating Jimbos.
Now Rowdy Rebel is a rapper from Brooklyn, New York. Rowdy Rebel is from the East Flatbush section of Brooklyn. That's very close to Brownsville, the 90s to be exact. You might have heard the 90s being referred as 9 ounce or the 9. The 90s is full of talented rappers from Rowdy Rebel, Fabio Foreign, Corey Finesse, Drizzy Giuliano, and the late Mook Moolah, just to name a few. Now in Rowdy younger years, he was part of a group called the Rutland Rebels, along with Baby Rutland and Flawless. But Rowdy wouldn't see mainstream success until Bobby Shmurda put out the Hot record, which quickly went viral along with Rowdy Rebel's record for Shmoney Dance. Rowdy and Bobby would then follow up with the Computers record, making GS9 the hottest thing in the music industry. But the too quick rise in the music industry would come to a quick end when Rowdy and Bobby, along with 13 others, was arrested for murder, attempt murder, reckless endangerment, and a slew of other charges. Now, before Rowdy Rebel would spend nearly 7 years in prison, before Rowdy put out his hit record for Shmoney Dance and Computers, along with Bobby Shmurda, before the world would be introduced to GS9, Rowdy would find himself in some trouble he might not made it out of. Now, according to Rowdy Rebel, after a long night of hanging out and drinking with friends in the Bronx around 4 a.m., on their way home from that friend mother house, him and some of his guys ran into a group of Spanish dudes arguing amongst each other. Now, according to Rowdy Rebel, he says he was playing his PSP and drinking from his cup. His friend got his attention, tapped him and put him on to the altercation going on ahead of them. Now, supposedly this altercation was going on about 4 a.m. in the morning, and if you're familiar with altercations happening that time of morning, then you know it sounds pretty loud. But according to Rowdy Rebel, he says he got frustrated with the situation because the guys was just arguing and making noise. So according to Rowdy, he says he downed his cup that he was drinking and put his PSP in his pocket. He moves his friend out the way, and he walks towards the Spanish guys, and he pops on one of them, and he knocked them out cold. So basically, Rowdy was on bad timing. He was on some stuff like, look, y'all here making all this noise this early in the morning. Ain't nobody doing nothing, so I'm not going to mind my business. And I'm going to get it popping since y'all ain't getting it popping, and just insert himself into the situation. So now after Rowdy knocked out one of the Hispanic dudes, that started a brawl with Rowdy and his people and a Spanish guy and his crew. Now, according to Rowdy Rebel, he says the Hispanic guys pulled out knives without them even realizing it. So while they fighting and getting it on, he said one of the guys ran by and hit him in the stomach. But the hit to the stomach wasn't actually a punch or nothing. It was actually him being stabbed by one of the guys. And he didn't realize he was stabbed until his legs started to give out on him. So now after his legs was giving out on him, he decided to lift his shirt up and check. And he said he seen a hole. And in that hole, like his guts was hanging out of his stomach. But Rowdy and his crew decided to go back to the building they were coming from and escape the attack from the Hispanic guys by getting back to that building, locking themselves in, and, eventually calling the ambulance. Now, luckily, Rowdy Rebel would survive this attack, and hopefully Rowdy Rebel learned something from this situation because things could have definitely got ugly out there in the Bronx for him. Now, Rowdy Rebel is currently making good music. He's home from prison. After doing his 6 years, it seems like he got his head on straight, and he's on a much positive path. And, he seems to be carrying the whole GS9 situation, to be honest. But it's just a story I wanted to share with y'all if y'all ain't heard it already. But anyway, if you're a fan of these old hip-hop stories, tell a friend and tell a friend about my page. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. More content coming, and I'm out.